All right, I'm going to hit you guys with the brief boxing breakdown. Okay, starting with the match we had 2 weeks ago. Saturday, May 14th, you had Jermell Charlo versus Brian Castaño, part 2. The first fight ended in a draw. I felt that was the right decision. It was a good, even matchup. The second fight ended in a 10th round stoppage. Jermell Charlo stopping Castaño in the 10th round. Now, there was some good, even action early on in the fight, but I wasn't surprised by the outcome of the fight. Even though the first fight was a draw, that was largely in part due to the fact that Jermell Charlo had started to gain momentum in the last 3 or 4 rounds of that first fight. It seemed he had sort of figured out Castaño's strategy, his style, his tactics. So he won those last 3 or 4 rounds in the first fight. And I think that his knowledge of Castaño's style and strategy carried him to the technical knockout victory in the second fight. It was a good fight. It was exciting. It had good moments, and it was even early on. But after about the 5th or 6th round, Jermell Charlo had him figured out again and just was landing the harder, cleaner punches, and the result speaks for itself. Tomorrow, you have a fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Rolando Romero. This fight was supposed to happen back in December. Raleigh's had some sort of legal issues that he had to deal with that kept him out of that fight, as we all know. And now we're finally getting the match that was supposed to happen in December. 6 months later, it's happening tomorrow. There's been a lot of bad blood, a lot of smack talk going back and forth between the two. As a lot of you may have seen, Tank Davis pushed Raleigh's off the stage at the press conference yesterday, further fueling the bad blood and playing the mind games, trying to get him into his head and get him out of his game plan. I predict that fight is going to end in a knockout. Raleigh's is saying he's going to end it in the first round. Now, I've got to say, I think Davis has the far superior resume. I think he's the better tactical fighter. He's the more patient fighter. And I think he is just going to let Raleigh's aggression play into his hands. Not saying he can't be beat, but I think because of his superior mental game and his ability to adjust in fights, as we've seen in his recent fights, mid-fight, and also his devastating punching power, makes him the more well-rounded fighter of the two. I think the fight should be an exciting fight. It should be an explosive fight, and I'm definitely predicting a knockout. If I had to pick a winner, I'm going to pick Tank Davis for the reasons that I stated. Raleigh's is dangerous. He's a little bit taller, but the size difference doesn't matter. Tank Davis has been in there with guys taller than him and come out successful every time. So this is also going to be his last fight with Mayweather Promotions. So I think he's going to go for the knockout. He's not going to try to leave it in the hands of any judges. It's just a bad blood fight, and those type of fights usually make for pretty much all-out action fights. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that one goes down. And finally, you've got Saul Canelo Alvarez. He going to go back and revisit an old rival in Triple G. Now, as we all know, the first fight in 2017 ended in a draw. The next fight in 2018 ended with a majority decision for Canelo. A lot of people will think that Triple G won that fight. There's a lot of controversy surrounding that. I feel like this fight is a couple years too late. It should have happened immediately after the second fight, but be that as it may, Canelo moved on to different things. He felt like he had proven his point. Triple G has kind of like slowly rebuilt himself into, you could say, relevancy. He is 40 years old now, so a lot of people complain that Canelo waited till Triple G was old to fight him in the first place. He's even older now, so I think Canelo, coming off of this loss, wants to move back down to his more natural weight class and take on an old rival. He's already familiar with his style, and he feels that he was deserving of the win in the first place. So I think it's It's not quite cherry picking, but it is definitely a fight that he strongly believes he could win, and to build himself back up and get another win under his belt before he decides to try to rematch Dimitri Bivol. So be careful what you wish for, though, because Triple G has been waiting for this fight for years as well. There's some bad blood there. There's a true rivalry, and it is a true trilogy of the sport of boxing, and we love those. They're usually, if they're good enough to make three, they're usually good fights, and they're usually worth it. So look forward to that in September. I'll tell you who I think is going to win that fight later on in the year as that time approaches. But yeah, we've got that unification fight at 154 that took place 2 weeks ago. Charlo's pretty much got nothing left to prove at 154. I expect him to move up to 160, and his twin brother to move up to 168. You can't have them in the same division. They won't fight each other. And tomorrow night's fight, I'm expecting Tank Davis to win a mid-round stoppage. It'll be an action fight. It'll be fun. And of course, September, we got another Canelo Triple G fight to look forward to. So I'm no expert. I just call him how I see him, and that's what I think. If you like the video, hit that like button. If you want to support my channel, hit that sub button. And until next time, you and Bo.